All right, I have a counter offer.
Okay.
Okay, listen. All right, look. I have a counter offer for you.
Okay.
Right?
Did you think about this before you said it? Or did you say that and then the hopes that it came to your mind?
I'm just building up the dramatic. No.
Okay.
No,
all right. Sorry.
Building up to the dramatic, release of it. All right. Listen. Send her a call sign. You send her a fucking email with her new call sign in it. And you say, "Hey, former Sheriff Kyle Pred wants to come over here. You're a great officer. His experience, and everything. He's attached to that locker. To be honest, it's kind of sad. It's all he fucking has. He has nothing else going for him in this life. Can you just let him have the call sign so that he can not go ocean dump himself?" I feel like that's appropriate, right? Put the ball in her court. Be like, hey, listen, he doesn't have anything else.
You want me to guilt trip her? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think it's guilt tripping. It's
I think it is. You're saying you're gonna go and drown yourself in the ocean if you don't get the call sign.
Right back up at the hospital. I don't remember this conversation.
What about if you don't? Okay, then that's on her.
I think it's the mature thing to do.
Okay.
I have ocean dumping.
I have a counter offer. Right?
Okay.
You get a new call sign. Okay. And we have a conversation with Easton. And we sit down in a room, and if maybe I'll do it on my own because that might be, more convincing. And I will ask her if she's willing to give up the call sign. Okay. Why don't you show me your ID?
It's my ID.
Thank you, Brent.
I don't carry that shit. I don't have one.
Oh, because somebody else.
Well,
I can show you my synthetic liver card.
No, that's okay. What I'm saying is, Brent, I don't know whether you've heard about this new unit we're trialing. Have you heard about it?
What's that? No, I haven't heard anything.
It's been run by Mills at a shift 3, but it's the proactive. That's fine. It's the proactive crime team. How do I describe this? My best way to describe this to you, Brad, would be, on The Wire, how there's the kind of narcotics detectives that roll around plain clothes and they kind of jump out the kids selling crack on the corner.
Jump out boys shit. Yeah.
The jump out boys.
Task force. The real policing task force. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much there. Should you join the department with a different call sign for now, I will have, Nova's supervising shift 1, and I'm sure she'd be very happy to give you a trial run for that kind of work, because I think you'd be good at it. And, if you did get accepted into the unit, Pred, you could drive the Twilight as your unmarked vehicle for that unit.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, Pred.
I can't drive the Twilight. I had to sell it to Jenny for $900,070.
Whoa, that's terrible.
You sold the Twilight?
She's holding on to it for me. I thought I could get the money back.
Well,
awkward, huh? Yeah. Maybe we could. I can talk to Libby about getting you some funds to help with that.
When's Hardcastle get out of? When's the mayor wake up?
I have no idea. Why? What are you going about the mayor for?
Nothing at all.
What are you trying? No, I just offered you a job and you ignored me and said, when is the corrupt guy waking up?
I did not say corrupt guy.
No, that's my words. Fred, listen. If you're gonna come back, you gotta. There's a few stipulations, okay? The first thing, if you come back, if you're inactive, this goes for everybody. After a month, you lose your call sign. You go down to Romeo.
Can you define inactive? What's inactive?
Like if you're just not around for a month.
Yeah, just not coming on duty. Spend all that time eating nachos and playing video games in your house instead of putting on your uniform and coming to work.
Wasn't playing video games. I was grieving for my dead friend.
I never replied to her. You were having he was on bereavement leave, Dark. Come on, you gotta give him some, you know, some leeway here.
No, I am.
That's like it's a legally mandated thing, you know.
Yeah, I understand. Well, it's just after a month you lose your call sign. That's it. You don't get fired. You don't get fired if you're inactive for 3 months. Okay? If you're inactive, you just get given a Romeo call sign, like Romeo 1 or Romeo 2, something like that.
I'll take your job.
Okay.
Just give me. I don't care what call sign I get.
You do clearly care about what call sign you get. We'll work on it.
Nope, I don't care. This is the absolute worst timeline.
It's not the worst timeline, Pred, because let's just say that Shift 1 is looking for senior officers right now. There is movement available here.
I used to be the sheriff.
I know, Pred. You got a big target on your back, man. I get it.
I don't have a target on my back anymore. They already fired the missiles. They hit.
Okay. How much money do you have right now, Pred?
I don't have any money.
You just said you sold your coffee.
Nothing.
Okay. Listen, Pred. If I'm honest, I'm very excited for your return. I want you to be here. I don't want you sitting in your apartment moping anymore. Okay. So whatever I can do.
If all your friends died and you got
he's only got me left, Dark. Could you imagine only having me left?
That wasn't very sensitive of me, and I apologize.
People that get promoted or anything in this PD are people that suck Bass's cock. If you don't just get on your knees and put that bald prick's dick in your mouth, you don't get anything.
Well, that's just how having a job works, sweetie.
Fred, I'm going to give you a very nice and calm warning that if you suggest that the Queen Elizabeth sucked Bass's cock ever again, I'll make sure you never get a fucking job.
I'm not saying that about Queen Elizabeth.
Well, you just said anybody who gets promoted. She got promoted under Bass.
Because everybody... No, that was Soze. Soze's different than Bass. The only people I've seen fucking Bass promote are fucking Knight and goddamn Malton.
That's accurate. That's accurate. Yeah. Well, listen. What do you want to do? What is going to make you come on duty?
I got an idea. Idea.
What is it?
I can't tell you.
What? What do you mean you can't tell me?
I can't tell you.
Okay, but you know what? You can stay in a UPD. You can stay in a UPD.
Well, what do you mean? I can't tell you.
You can
say
tell
you what I'm gonna do.
You don't need to worry about it because it's probably not relevant to police work, right?
Yeah,
it definitely is. He comes around.
What he's gonna do after
he has. I saw the light bulb in his eyes when he said, "When's the mayor waking up?" Wonder what that was about. No, it's not happening. Until you want to be transparent with me, then you can get your job.
I don't think I can be transparent with you on this one there, Ass Chief.
Why not?
Not even honest with me, Dark. Okay.
Yeah, I barely even tell Angel my schemes. I didn't trust Angel for a while.
That's right.
After she became a trooper, there was just a long period of time where I didn't tell her dick.
Well, he tried to kill me.
I did not try to kill you.
He tried to have me murdered, Dark. Do that.
How did I try to have you murdered? Your dog just got shot.
He sent a monkey to my house to burn it down while I was sleeping in there.
You weren't even there.
But luckily, I was on duty, and so I survived the assassination attempt.
I wish... Now, if I did set it up, I would have made sure you were sleeping in there. All right? I would have said, hey, honey, why don't you go in there, take some...
This is my life now. He's back. And this is already happening to me. Just constant chaos and miscommunication. This is fine.
person call me a terrorist and say I blew up that hospital, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Sorry, what did you say? I zoned out.
Nothing important, sir.
Okay. So have you made a decision? Are you gonna tell me what you want to do?
I'm just gonna start a support group for disgruntled cops.
Support group? Okay, that's
like
fine.
Alcoholics Anonymous, you see, that's very responsible and mature.
I'm just gonna start. It's gonna be like AA, but it's gonna be for cops that feel like they don't get anything.
Oh, that's
gonna be called Disgruntled Cops Anonymous, the DCA.
That's what you want to do every day is DCA?
Or Corrupt Cops Anonymous, or
yeah. Something. I mean, we've got Gamblers Anonymous that I am going to have you attend.
What I'm going to talk to Hardcastle about. You don't have to worry about what I'm going to talk to the mayor about.
You are essentially a cadet right now, Pred. So yes, I am concerned.
You don't have to worry about it.
Quick. All right. And you promised me that? You being honest here? Or are you trying to fuck me in the ass?
I'm not trying to ass fuck you, sir. I'm just trying. I was just going to talk to my friend. You know, that's all.
Don't you use me, Pred. If I find out you're using me... Okay. All right, then.
I'm telling you truthfully. Dark, I would never do anything to you or Queen Elizabeth. All right?
Okay. All right. Okay, well,
I would never... Come on, Dark. I would never use you. On this month, please. What do you think I am, a monster?
Okay, I've got a... What have I got? 18 days till you turn around and throw something on my desk that's going to ruin me. Okay, that's fine. I'll take the gamble. Well, what call sign do you want?
I don't fucking know.
Come on, Brian.
What's available?
Let me have a look.
007.
No, that's... You can't have 007. Okay, there's 499, 498. There's a lot of the later numbers. From 450 onwards is available.
I want to be 499. Whenever you say the number 9 too many times, you sound like you're like giving a Hitler speech. I don't want to be 499.
405, maybe? Yeah.
405, that's my brother's old call sign.
Who?
I'll be 405 for my brother.
405, that's very sweet. Okay. Well, Pred, welcome back. Please let me know what you need, and I'll make sure it happens. Okay, apart from exchanging some amounts of money, or drugs, or anything else.
Sorry, I blanked out for a sec.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, you're hired, Brad.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't have any schemes in the making.
Oh, God, why do you say that?
I've always liked you, Richard, even though I almost killed you that one time when I was in prison.
Yes, you did.
I feel like you still hold that against me.
If I did, do you think I'd be hiring you right now? Or I would let you sit in the desert of UPD until you dried out like a little mushroom?
I know that you probably still hold some resentment against me because you forgot who your family and friends were and your loved ones were for 8 months. But I'm glad that we're deciding to leave that all in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, Brad.
You know, I always supported you. Even though I was 90% of your IA cases, there was no one who was more supportive of the internal affairs than me.
That's so true. Yeah.
The truest thing I ever heard of. He was the pinnacle of internal affairs.
I was the only one. You can ask Angel. I was the only one.
The only worst that everyone's scared of in internal affairs, and I'm really glad that he's not involved in it anymore because I'm not scared of internal affairs anymore.
Oh, you see, if I was doing internal affairs, people would be scared. You remember the recordings?
Yeah, that's
Dark.
true.
I want internal affairs. That's all I want.
Okay.
I can talk. Okay. I can talk people into anything. All right. Okay. What's Malton gonna do? All right. What the hell is Malton gonna do? Malton's gonna go to the fucking SDSO building, eat fucking pizza. All right. Make fun of Toretti a little bit. All right.
Then what's Malton gonna do with IA?
Bass. No, I'm not saying that.
Are you just talking about him as a soldier? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is bullshit.
Okay. All right. You listen. get out there, okay? Do some police work. Lock it in like you were at the start of the restructure, okay? Remember?
I can be locked in.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, I'll have a talk to Nova, see if I can get you sorted for this pact unit, because I think you'll do great.
Look, I want IA. That's all I desire.
Okay, I'll talk to the chief about it.
I just want to do patrol. I just want to scheme with the mayor, and I want to do internal affairs.
What are you scheming with the mayor?
That's for him to know and for you
no,
to find out.
no. I said I just want to do patrols and internal affairs investigation.
Okay, I'm going to lay something out here, Pred. If you are wanting to be internal affairs, anti-corruption, you cannot then go and scheme with the guy that was fired from PD for corruption. Do you see how that looks?
Yeah, but what did he even really do?
He evidence tampered mid-search and seizure and didn't tell the people operating the raid.
I've heard worse. The commissioner killed someone.
Yeah, he did.
He killed a couple people. The ocean's done deep.
Yeah, the way I see it, yeah, maybe a little wee bit of corruption, a little teensy bit, but who hasn't,
Everyone always puts the finger at me. Oh, Pred, you're so aggressive. You hit people with a nightstick in an alleyway. Meanwhile, our commissioner's a fucking murderer. Pred, you blew up a building and set houses on fire. Didn't even do that. It was all electrical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about that, Pred.
Look, I appreciate you, Dark. I'll get myself sorted out. Okay.
All right. Sounds good, Pred. It's good to have you back.
Am I a senior officer or am I just an officer?
You're just an officer for now, but like I said, we have no seniors in shift 1 right now. 0. Nil point. That means there's at least 3 spots open.
You hear that, honey? If I work hard enough, I can be a senior officer in the LSPD.
You can be just like me.
Yep, we can be 2 peas in a pod.
Yep.
Okay. Get to it.
I hope you realize I'm going to be taking out all this disgruntled feelings that I'm having on my wife later.
What?
Huh?
What did you say?
Nothing.
I'm going to suggest that you don't do that.
I love you, honey.
Yeah, I love you too, friend.
That would be illegal.
What's illegal about having rough sex, huh? Right.
That's all.
I didn't think. Never mind. Okay.
What do you think I am, some woman beater?
What the hell? You're not a woman beater, Dark. What's wrong with you?
Well, to be fair, I have beaten quite a handful of women.
You killed a woman in a wheelchair, Brad.
Well,
let's not forget.
That woman in the wheelchair came at me.
Yeah, of course. I forgot. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Get your uniform changed, please. Take the hat off. Then you can leave the hat on if you want. But yeah.
This hat's terrible.
I'll catch up with you. Okay.
I don't like the patrol cap.
And put your scar away in your lockbox.
I don't have a car, so I was just carrying it with me until I get a car for the day.
You can just get get a shared car.
I mean, yeah, I don't have it. I don't own I gave my Taurus to Peach.
Okay, that's probably destroyed or in the ocean by now. So yeah, get a shared car, or maybe ride with somebody. You know, that'd be nice. Maybe with Angel. Angel, you want to take him out?
Yeah, you can. I have lots of cars.
Actually. I always love hanging out with my wife.
I own a lot of cars. So. You have cars.
She loves cars. She's a car gal. That's what she spends all her money on.
Cool. Yeah, that's right.
You don't want to ride with him for a bit, Angel? Make sure he's good.
Oh yeah. You want me to ride with it? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Oh, you don't have. Oh, it's okay. You know what? If you don't want to spend time with me, that's fine. I can just go fuck myself.
What I should do is I should provide you with our standardized driving instruction assessment.
That's a good idea.
And help you with your driving, sweetie. So we'll do that.
He did struggle with that. He did.
Yeah, he did. It was probably one of his worst things. So the best driver in the PD here, me. That's what I am. That's my title, by the way, officially. Right, Dark? That's my official title.
Yep, that's accurate. That's in the books.
My official title is best driver in the PD. I can help you become better. So
I'm a great driver.
Never.
I taught you how it's done.
I don't think that's actually the case.
How am I stuck in here in this office now?
Yeah, come on, let's
Dan, thank you for the raid, buddy.
All right, let me get my uniform on.
Yeah, that's
You know, these uniforms in the UPD are like humiliating. They make us all look fat.
That was Bastard's idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put my Shadow Trooper uniform.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, dudes.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Thanks, Angel.
Hey, O'Reilly, how you doing?
Oh God.
Son, thank you. That was a really fun chase, dude. That was really good. It was so clean until you shot me in the back. Yeah, quite lacking, dude. Listen, you and fucking C2s working together to kill me. Right, let me, Pred's just been rehired, so let me get him sorted. Kyle, Pred. Shift 1, 405. Grab this. Oops.
Fingo, got another report
LSPD.
about you.
Did you review the gun thing?
Oh fuck no, because Craig grabbed me. Let me see. I'll do it right now.
Yeah, I just copy. I didn't copy paste. I just did Remington and Scott together because it's the same SOP, right?
Yeah.
So there should be no confusion about who can use what guns per this report. Also, are you fine with the cadets having it? I'm assuming yes. They just need to be given the authorization to use it.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple, but I know there's been some confusion with people just bringing out the scarf for the wrong thing. I think a huge thing that I want to put in here, if you agree, we shouldn't be using the scar or the Remington in Southside shootings of gang-related shooting. Because the whole thing from Bass was
high traffic. Yeah.
These high-powered weapons should be especially in high-traffic areas like Vinewood, the hospital, or the whole or City Hall. So north of Olympic, I think we should say yes, we use them, and then that promotes the whole south of Olympic. We have a different response, and not to say we have no response. We should still be responding to gang shootings in the south side, but not as heavy-handed because there's already been not feedback, but I've already received word from people on the streets not knowing what the PD response is, not knowing can they, you know, they're not allowed to have a shootout anywhere, but it's kind of like a where should, if anything was to happen, is it preferred in the eyes of the law? And because there was some situations in the south side where it was like instant SCAR response. We didn't do, I guess, the whole get enough units and wait out. People just going straight in. And I think we definitely should bring that back because there needs to be the fear of the south side because that is the biggest gang turf. The only problem with the whole like south of Olympic thing is there's gang turf all over the north side now. So it's
this is what I mean.
I'd say like Little Seoul is just like the south side. So
I think it should be
like south of Olympic and Little Seoul, and then like the Billabong and the Manda Block, right? So it's such a tough one because the gang turf has exploded all over the place. You technically have Mirror Park is all gang turf, and you have
fuck's such a shit, Sam.
Up in Rockford.
But I was like, we gifted us up to Sam. I appreciate it, buddy.
You got Marathon. So I don't know. Do we want to do the whole south of Olympic thing, or it's just tough?
Me personally, I think that's a very outdated policy.
Yeah.
From a time where there was, that's where pretty much all the gangs were, apart from like probably Chan Gang, probably up north. And there was gang wars every day, all day, every day, just below Olympic. And if there was something up north, then yeah, that's why we had, because it wasn't very often. But now, these days, I mean, let's be honest, there's probably like 60% might be above the freeway at this point.
I'd say even more.
Yeah.
I would honestly say like 75 to 80.
Yeah. It's a lot. So I think it's something I'll probably bring up at the meeting, is shifting that policy, because I think it's very outdated and we need something different. I still feel like it's good to have different levels for gang related shootings, like having, you know, going in there and warning everybody to leave and that kind of stuff, versus, you know, the south side. Well, not the south side versus non-south side escalation. I think we keep that, but we just need to change it a bit. I don't know how, like, what's the local, I guess we do it like Bass and say high traffic areas, like Vinewood, just do that. Like maybe
just... So what about, instead of having a south side versus north side response, you maybe like a level 1 and level 2 response. So we should be treating
probably like north of Del Perro Freeway is can get pretty residential and high traffic.
Yeah, but then it's also north of Del Perro and east of North Rockford. And what?
Yeah, it could get pretty confusing.
That's why Olympic was so easy before. And I get wanting to do Del Perro, but then you have exceptions like, what if you have a massive gang shooting in Mirror Park? Are we going super hard against that? I think we should. But then you have the Manor Block and the Seaside area. Those aren't always that residential, like the Playa Vista thing, but
yeah, that's not
still in high traffic.
Yeah. It is high traffic, yeah.
But then you also have like the oil fields. Is that south side? It's south of Olympic, but
I don't think that's high traffic. Yeah,
is south of Olympic also west of Elysian Fields? You know, is it west of the canals or is it east of that?
I mean, maybe it's time to just move to one response and just have it be consistent across the board.
Yeah, maybe.
That's going to be a big change, though. If we agree on that,
it'll be a tough one.
I mean, the way things are going, especially with the way Bass has made that announcement, it seems like that could be a possibility.
Yeah, really empowering is to have a more foot on the floor response, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, not so passive. Talking about like big responses like that. I know you were on the ground. Did you see what happened with the Bay City Bank? I don't know if you agree with
I was injured, but I heard it on the radio. I was, you know, I was agreeing with you the whole way that we should shoot them. I think
what about
that kind of arrogance?
Get in the car versus instead of breaching the bank.
Whatever promotes civilian safety in that situation was the best move.
Shooting the car is what I picked.
Yep.
And then what about not actually telling them we're gonna shoot them, just telling them they're gonna get an escalated response? Because if we tell them we're gonna shoot them, they just shoot the hostage on the spot.
Again, in my opinion, negotiators should say whatever it takes to keep that hostage alive.
Even if that means lying. So.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
From what I heard, Candace did a great job.
Yeah, she did. In situations like that, I don't think we need to have Remingtons or Scars. That's where we should be still using our standard service pistols.
Yeah, unless we witness class 2s. But I don't imagine we did.
One of them was unarmed. 2 of them were unarmed.
Jesus Christ.
So. Probably could have shot to disable the vehicle and then shot the one shooter, but there's too many. What if they had guns in the car? What if 2 of them had guns? They hadn't shown them yet. So safest play was just escalate to level 5 and stop.
They're all fleeing felons at that point.
I charged them with misdemeanor obstruction of justice because it was criminal negligence of them being stupid, just driving into our scene and then disobeying a kidnapping. And then I gave them robbery financial on top of it because they didn't actually rob it the first time. They just arrived with a hostage. So that's why I gave them those 3 charges and then robbery financial after it. Because they didn't shoot back. They just all got executed.
Who was it in the end?
Ballers.
Ah, okay.
Not in colors.
They left their brain cells in the south side.
That they did.
Hey, Eva.
Hey, I just walked in because, you know, command stuff now, I guess.
Yeah, what was happening with, what's his name? The guy. His name is eluding me. His name is eluding me.
God, Doc.
His name is Dick. No, that's my name.
No.
No. I'm not cheating.
Oh, talking about Dick. Dick Daniels is PBSO. He just went into ICU before I could get him a call sign. That's why he's still UPD in the roster.
Dick Daniels, okay.
We're talking to Dicks.
Yep, that club. Yeah, that guy. Club.
Is
he okay?
He's fine. I'm just calling people in when I see them around, just to have like a catch-up meeting with them and put the feelers out there for like how they are. Because I want to, obviously, this would normally fall to a senior. I'm trying to find seniors. And I think the only way that I can gauge that from people is like obviously having the conversations with them and observing how they work and stuff. Club is lacking a lot of confidence. He's gone from being able to lead scenes and being comfortable to, since the restructure, that has fallen off massively. So I'm working on trying to empower him. I've given him the responsibility of like a point of community outreach for early shift 1. I think early shift 1 could do with him especially. He's a very talkative person, but also listens, and he's a very likable person. Because I've always seen Club as very positive. So when I heard that he's lost all his confidence, I feel awful for him, because he is a very positive. Like he always looks on the brighter side of things, even when mistakes are made, even when he's fucked up. He always looks on the brighter side of things. And to hear that he's feeling like a little bit down in the dumps and sort of grounded down is upsetting. So I'm going to try and empower him with this community outreach thing. I also want him to possibly be a training coordinator for pursuits for early shift 1, because he very much enjoyed taking cadets to work on pursuits and pursuit comms. Just specifically those things. So I'm hoping that'll also boost his confidence a little bit more if he starts doing that again. Because I remember him doing it before the restructure, so I would love for him to do it again now.
Okay, sounds great. So, yeah. Who are all I know we've got 4 pursuit coordinators. I know we've got Espino's, Carter. Who else?
So Suarez for shift 1, but Suarez could be like the focus for late shift 1. But also, I found out yesterday what I found out. I've let you know, even though I told him I wouldn't.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, about the transfer.
Yes, so I'm going to try and talk to him, and I'm going to do what was suggested, and I'm going to task him with some stuff. Even though it might be...
I'm glad he told you, because that's the first thing I told him to do. I'm going to say that right now. Every single time. I say, reach out to your commander and explain what happened. He told me he'd do it. So,
explain it in layman's to me. Just what's he thinking? Why does he want to go?
Okay. So what he said to me basically was like, I think it's true for a lot of people at the moment. I think there's a fair few out there that we don't realize. But he's lacking that sense of belonging, I think. I think his relationship-wise, I think it's sort of fallen off for him. He's missing DPD, although no department is going to give him DPD round 2.
True.
DPD was unique, and he's not going to be able to replicate that. And he does keep mentioning DPD. So I think he's expecting with his transfer, he's going to get something similar to that. And I think he could end up being disappointed for that. He might also realize, hey, this is different, but it's still okay. I like it, right? I think he was very used to being Brian's right hand. I think he was used to being given constant things to work on. I personally tend to look for people who will just pick things up and run with it. Unless I already know that they struggle with that, and therefore I'll help them identify things that they could pick up and run with. I didn't know Suarez was like that until my conversation with him yesterday.
Yeah, me neither.
Because I spoke to him last Monday and talked to him about community outreach also. Because I also think Suarez would be great for that, and I know DPD did that heavily. He'd mentioned to me about budgets, but we already have somebody working with budgets within LSPD. I'd rather not go around and start taking other people's roles from them just to divide them up, because I'm now just hearing about it, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it's a lack of he's feeling a lack of like being wanted, being needed. I think there's a lot of people like that who have gone from having a lot of responsibility to not really having that much right now.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if these people just sort of picked something up and ran with it. And if, okay, fair enough, if they're overstepping, we'll tell them, hey, you're overstepping a little bit, dial it back. But at the same time, I'm going to be honest, it's probably just going to impress most of us, right? We did the restructure, which was basically a reset. We know people are capable of things, but we need to see it since the restructure to be able to act on it.
I've been thinking about this a bit this morning. I think one thing that me and Libby have pushed from the store, and I think the message has got across, that you can do whatever kind of police work you want. You can make new units, you can do whatever. You just have to, you know, tell us and show interest in it. And, you know, I think so far, everything that anybody's come to us like that, we've said yes, and it's happened, and they've tried it. I think we're trying to, I think there's been a lot of, like, from what I've heard from SGSO, I think Toretti's a bit of a micromanager, and it sounds like Brian might have been doing that too with Suarez. I just don't know, like, are we doing the wrong thing being so hands-off? I don't know.
It's a rough one, right? Because you don't want to micromanage people. You want to empower them to do that, right? You want to empower them to use their own sort of intuition with things and just run with it. Yeah, initiative. That's the one. And I think at first we might have to. I don't want to say micromanage, but I think we might have to sort of assist them with stepping across some stepping stones and then let them run with it. Sort of like, you know, like riding a bike with friggin' stabilizers. Sort of, at first you like, when you take those stabilizers away, you're sort of helping them by holding onto the bike, then you let go without them realizing. Sort of similar to like that. I think there are some people who may need that because they're used to that and they feel comfortable with that. Just like everybody has different learning styles, everybody has different working styles. And I think it'd be good to recognize people like that, but also then work on empowering them to get them to the level where, hey, they don't need to be told what to do 100% of the time. And they're just picking things up by themselves.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Suarez, I think, could go very, very far. And then to hear that he needed to have things handed to him to work on and stuff, like, it really shocked me because I didn't think that's what was happening. I thought he'd just like, he was just doing all of this within DPD off his own back sort of thing, you know?
He did email me, but I missed it. Unfortunately, I didn't like ignore him or anything, but...
Yeah, so this is another thing, right? He he mentioned that. And then obviously I'm finding out yesterday about how he feels and everything. And I'd spoken to him on Monday from a sergeant perspective, trying to get things in order, looking for a senior. However, before that I was senior and I never heard anything like this from him. It feels to me like he's automatically going to the people who are higher up because he's very much used to that with DPD because they were so close-knit. I don't think there was like a chain of command that they followed, if that makes sense. It was, yeah. And I think he's struggling to get back into the mindset of like your average police department where there is that sort of step up and there is the whole chain of command. But that existed for a reason, right? DPD was literally like a small community of people and they worked very well together and they were successful with themselves. There were things that, you know, did go wrong, but it wasn't the end of the world, right? And people enjoyed it while it was there. I don't think it would ever have lasted as a hugely long-term thing, especially as they got more people within the department. And I think Suarez might be missing that close-knittedness state, right, if that makes sense.
Unfortunately, I'm getting to the point now where, you know, we've lost so many people where I can no longer see them as outliers, and I see it as the underlying factor is me and Libby. So I have to question what we're doing wrong. So I think trying to figure that out is kind of priority number one for me at the minute. So I guess part of that might be being so hands-off. Maybe I need to be a bit more hands-on with getting people to do things, or even providing opportunities for people to go down and that kind of thing, instead of just leaving it too open, I guess. And then I think this, you know, the other side of the coin is the culture aspect, which I've never been good at it. Like, I've never been a particularly fun policeman, or, you know, fun about knowing how to, you know, get people to be social with each other or that kind of thing. I mean, look, I was a corporal for like a week before this whole thing happened. I'm very ill-experienced with it, and I think Libby might be in the same boat. So yeah, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to figure out how to fix this problem. So you gonna? Is that a question?
What is wrong with you? Oh, you've got your hand up. I thought you were pointing at something.
What's that, Sybil?
Me too. While I was a sergeant, lieutenant, I was very much put in those roles because I was very good at leading big scenes, and I think I was pushed to those positions because I have a very, like, just no nonsense voice on patrol, but I wouldn't really run patrol. I wouldn't direct the units, and sometimes I would. And back before the restructure, because there was so much high command, I was able to just kind of like exist in that role. But I would never focus on like the culture of the department. When we were CPD, I hated the culture of the department. And I actually talked with quite a lot of people who didn't agree with how CPD was after PBSO. And I pretty much said, you know what, I agree. If you don't like it, you should probably just leave, because don't be in a department you're not happy with. And I spent a good month or two when we became CPD considering going to a different department. I considered state officer. I considered joining the VPD. I was given a offer for the shift lead for DPD, but in the end of it, everything was kind of collapsing when Pred went on one of his big hiatuses, and then Jenny wasn't around so much, and there was no really sergeants. And that's when, back in December, myself and Sparta came together, and we were like, okay, there's no culture in this department. We've got a lot of people complaining about it. And that's when we just sat everybody together and we just winged it. And we just heard everybody out, wanted to see what they wanted with the direction, started seeing what people wanted. That's when we started doing Flashback Friday, which was our way of slowly pointing in the direction of, hey, maybe CPD's not working out. And then Command came together after 2 months of that, and we went back to PBSO. And then with the restructure, the image I sold to people was PBSO and CPD. We became the biggest department in the PD with 130 people, and we lost that BCSO culture that when I was hired, it had that. Back when there was like, what, 60, 70 people in the BCSO before the mass hiring, you knew everybody in the department. You could trust everybody. You'd see all those, you know, yellow blips, and you know what's going on. You'd get on the calls, and you'd be able to rely on them and know who they are, instead of just being like another name of the mass. Because we went from the greatest department to the biggest department, which was like the thing like Pred would say, right? He would always say like the PBSO is the best, and then he went with saying PBSO is the biggest. And we lost that. And that's why with the restructure, I really, really focused on building that between the departments and inside the department. And there's still problems. I think there's issues across the entire UPD that we're all suffering from. We have 56 people that were members of command that still feel like they have a lot to give, and they can't really do that as officers or seniors, so they're getting that like directionless field. I have multiple people in my department that are considering leaving to state or going like the SCSO. It's happened with the SSO. You had like, what, 7 or 8 people went to state a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So people, this is across the board. Like PBSO might look like it's got it real sweet because some of the transfers have come over to PBSO, but it's a PD-wide issue where in the middle, we have a lot of people that have a lot to give, but we have only so many positions at the top to give that to them, because this whole thing was, hey, let's focus on horizontal rather than vertical. But because the culture was just vertical for like, what, 5 fucking years, a lot of people still have that mindset. I've got people that have been deputy for like a month or two, and they're like, oh, I'm interested in going for senior, when senior is meant to be something between like corporal and sergeant. And these people are still very, very green, because they still view senior as this whole, I've been deputy for a while and I'm pretty good at leading shit. So if people can't find that in their department, that's why they're going to start looking outward. There's a big thing that I talk to Suarez, is like, you know, is this a case of grass is green on the other side? You know, I've felt like this with some people talk to me about going to the state. Like, what is so good over there rather than it's just something new? I don't know. Hopefully this random words helped. I'm sorry if it didn't, but I'm just rambling and...
No, hearing that it's a PD-wide issue is definitely, you know, it helps a bit. It's still definitely, especially with Shift 1, like, trying to run these pub quizzes and then we've got 6 people turning up is just disheartening. It's difficult. It's difficult to know what... I've tried to establish a feedback loop. Maybe that's just why it's not happening with Shift 1, because we don't have any seniors. And then people aren't going to Viv, and then nothing's coming to me.
I'm going to be honest. Even when I was senior, no one was coming.
Like,
there's a lot of people have issues, but they're not talking to anyone about it until you go to them and say, hey, what's up?
I mean...
But to do that, you've got to know that there's an issue, right?
Just the other day, I had this perfect example. I made a very difficult decision about Tennessee versus Ghana with Seaside in a room full of command. And we made the decision, everybody nodded their heads, and we left. And then someone was writing up the bulletin board, and Barrett called me and said that he and a couple of others, it was Espinosa and Daisy, all of these people were in the room who have worries about it, but didn't say anything when I was there. And I had to say something to Barrett, because what's the point?
Why wouldn't they say anything?
Exactly. Why wouldn't they say anything? And it's just like it doesn't make me angry. It's just disappointing. It's
frustrating.
It's frustrating.
I'm gonna be honest with you. To hear all this stuff come from Suarez yesterday, when it's like, I've been here since very early on in the restructure. I was taken in on day 4 into LSPD. I got senior before the end of restructure, so I was there in a capacity where if anyone had any issues, they could have come to me about it. And then I'm now sergeant with no seniors, and I'm only just hearing that people have issues. And like Sweets had mentioned, obviously when we discussed it slightly yesterday, Sweets had mentioned about empowering people, but I didn't even know I needed to do that, because I didn't even know there were these problems, because no one had actually come to talk to me. I'd done some talks as a senior. I talked to some people, but I wasn't able to grab everybody in that state. And then obviously I was trying to focus on helping P&T because Ross was on LOA. So everything got set back a little bit. So I do feel like partly to blame with that, because things did go fairly slow for a while. But at the same time, there's been plenty of opportunities for people to come forward, and they just haven't. And that's what's frustrating about it.
That's kind of why I wanted to push this. I asked Bass about that LEO feedback that we had on, you know, government website before. That's why I asked him about it, but he said that it's not working anymore. So that's why I got the feedback form up and running. Okay. I mean, it is a good thing. I'll tell you now, so far today, already since that announcement, we've had 11 feedback submissions, which is pretty good.
It's anonymous, right?
There's an option to be anonymous. About 50% of people have done it anonymous, 50% haven't. So that's good as well. But I figured, like, I think that there is issues when, and I want to try and get rid of them, but people have issues bringing things up because they're worried about confrontation. And I don't know how to fix that. Because I thought I was a pretty friendly guy, and I don't think we have anybody in particular anymore that is a particularly unfriendly high command from any department. I'll be honest.
No.
I'll do it.
What will you do? So you want to be the unfriendly one?
Unfriendly.
Okay, all right.
That's I used to do it in the
That's
DOC.
Impossible.
That's impossible. I'm
gonna be honest with you.
I was captain and I was unchecked, and I was able to be super unfriendly, and then I became
it's too late
a PD cadet, and then suddenly I got humbled because I called Toretti a delivery man at a meeting because he was wearing the SSO uniform 1 week after they got it, and I got forced to run from DPD all the way to the Dodo docks and look at delivery people and then run back as a non-solo cadet on my second shift. I got humbled, as they say, but I've been waiting. I'll do it.
It's too late for you. You've already got your image out there. People are not gonna. And people, okay, so people, Stubble, with you, you don't need to be that sort of person. With you, no, listen, with you, if someone disappoints you, that's gonna hit them harder, man. If you said that you were disappointed with someone, because people have too much respect.
Kane, stop watching at the window. You're disappointing me.
No, I have a question. I have a question.
Actually... Oh my god, he doubled down. He's still going.
I'm sorry. No, I have a.
He's not gonna go.
He's still.
I'm not coming in.
He's still...
You guys are all.
He's in.
I'm not.
I think he's in. Kane, are you in?
Is he disappointing you, Stubble? Because I said that he can have my call sign as long as he doesn't disappoint anybody.
This is very disappointing.
Okay, look, I think with the raid with it.
Is he just talking to the door? Or is he in the room?
Talking to the door.
I have a very important question.
Very important question.
Bobby's bald now?
Yeah.
Look, I have an opposite.
Am I allowed to enter? Ah! Push me! It pushed me!
Problem with my hat.
What?
I'm so sorry for this. This is so embarrassing.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, could a senior handle this?
No.
What's the question?
So, recently we've been getting a lot of these. Okay.
What are these? I can't see.
It's
Bolt
a gun.
1911.
Okay, it's a gun, but
Great.
it's registered to an owner. Okay.
Got to be up. You too, buddy. It's been nice.
They're not getting it.
I'll sell that weed on 1986 at some point.
Up to the appropriate authorities.
Oh, we've already done that. Yeah. Okay. So I know what this is. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
I will bring it up that it's happening again. So it's pretty much ammunition, bought guns getting pretty much shipped in or stolen, or people are somehow getting them and they shouldn't have the serial on it. So it really fucks the whole system.
Yeah, people are intercepting the deliveries. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or if they want an easier fix, just have the Brownings or other things in that location where these people are getting them from.
Okay, that's fine, Kane. Well, I got this. Thanks.
Thanks, Kane.
Okay.
It is a pretty big issue because it kind of fucks everything.
Mm-hmm.
Should
put my laptop
where were we?
I can't remember.
Oh yeah, so with you, Stubble, I don't think it necessarily has to be that it has to be a bad guy, right? I think if high command is played right, and if command is played right, like we do our parts, people should have the respect for us where, they see us as people that they can talk to. They also understand that they need to respect chain of command. But then when they push us too far, they know they're going to be in the shit. So it's not necessarily about having a bad guy and a good guy. It's about that. It's the respect.
Yeah, I think maybe, empowering our seniors a bit more might help with the confrontation issue, because they're not going to a member of command. They're just going to someone who's just a step above them 90% of the time. Mm-hmm. And they're not like a command member who's going to strike them. Or I think I really want to push seniors are like, I don't even know how to say it. They're just the friendly people, It's just the people you can mess around with still. Like, you still mess around with your seniors. You can't really mess around with your sergeants, You get yourself in trouble. Yeah. But yeah, I think the confrontation issue is a thing. Hopefully that's all it is, and there's nothing else to it in terms of why we're not hearing feedback. But I don't know. Yeah.
Do you want to? I don't know if you want to talk to Spyro. I'm trying to get him in today to talk about the stuff that was mentioned yesterday, and try and set him up with a task. See if he takes it and runs with it or not. I don't know. It was a weird conversation because it very much feels like his mind is made up, but then at the same time he was like, I'm still thinking about it. And then I was just like, well,
if his mind is made up, I don't want to, like, this isn't me trying to be a nasty guy. I do care that he's leaving, but like, if he'd rather be somewhere else, then I'm all for it. But if that's the case, like, I don't want to sit here and try and convince. I don't want to try and convince him. I don't want to throw a bunch of spanners in the works. Like, I want individuals to be able to make their decisions without us pandering to them. we should have been able to support him in the first place. If he wants to say, okay, listen, you know, I'll give it a chance. Maybe I'm doing this too quick. Let's see what we can do. Then great. But I don't want to be like having to convince him to stay. You know what I mean?
Well, a big thing that I always say to people that want to come over is, yeah, it shouldn't be this whole trying to convince them to stay. It should be you should give it one last effort, put everything on the table, explain that you have these reservations, explain what your current intentions are, and explain what like the problems have been across the board, and see if you can fix it. And if you can't, you can at least leave and know that you tried. Because the last thing I want, let's say Soros came to me day before yesterday, and he was like, "Hey, here's the deal. I've got all these reservations. I'm very interested in coming to the PBSO." And then I was playing a little bit of devil's advocate, making sure like, you know, he had good reasons for it. And then I said to him, just like I did to McQuillan, you know, reach out to Libby and Dark and Viv, talk to your command and then your high command, explain what's happening. And then if you don't do that, and I was to accept you like right now, and you just left in the middle of the night, and they had no reason, like no understanding what the issues were, there's gonna be 5 more Suarez's down the line, right? When people move out, sometimes there is like no one to blame, and it just kind of like is a natural thing that's gonna happen. But sometimes there are things that you can learn from as the department. And Juno, for example, went to the SDSO because the PBSO meetings to her were very. It was like jarring because there was a big culture at the start of the meetings where it was very like the crowd would like full on go against whoever's on the stand, and it became too much that she just started having this area of disdain, and it resulted in her transferring out. So I took that, and then we started having the talking box for people that were visitors, and nobody from the crowd was allowed to say shit while they had that box, because I had to literally be like a goddamn teacher and make them cut the shit out and respect people that were talking, and eventually got to a point where the box was no longer needed, and it's at a pretty good spot. But we lost Juno because of that. And, you know, maybe if that meeting culture didn't happen, that like that seed that started the doubt of her leaving wouldn't have happened. Can't really change anything, but I can learn from it. And maybe there's nothing to learn from Suarez, and maybe it's just a straight up, he was expecting DPD 0.2 with the LSPD, and that's not what it is. And there's nothing you could do about it. Or maybe there are issues, and at least hopefully these conversations can help that. Or maybe it can be fixable. But like you said, you don't want to be pandering. And it's the same with me. Whenever someone comes to me and they say, hey, I'm interested in leaving, the first thing I say is probably, if that's what you really want, I'm going to support you. I don't want to hold you back. And then I try and find out what the issues are and work on it. Some people you could save, some you can't. It's just how it is. But also, true. With the restructure, we no longer have this like us versus them, right? We're all working together. I think there's still some underlying grievances between PBSO and SDSO and the whole of us against the state, and then BCSO versus LSPD. There's still going to be like a Cold War. Some things everybody just disagrees on. But for the whole part, we are a unified police department, and we don't have this whole us versus them constant going against each other. You know, we're storming the SDSO. So I feel like that this environment is promoting people just transferring to a place where they want to be. So
yeah, I'd agree. Yeah,
it's kind of like the environment we've created is one where we've normalized people moving from spot to spot, and then you also have the fact that with the UPD restructure, a lot of people took a leap of faith and joined departments not knowing what it would be, or you know, we all set out and we had examples. I'll say that PBSO is kind of close to what I was envisioning, but we're still a way off from what my original goal was. And if there's people that feel like we're not close to it and they want to leave, then I'm not going to blame them. So I'm not going to be surprised if there's an uptake in transfers as of, you know, we hit the 60 days and over the next probably month or two.
What is your goal for PBSO, if you don't mind me asking?
The goal of PBSO was to always be like that bridge department, kind of what state wanted to be, but we actually do it, where we're that in-between, kind of like that misfit department, because I feel like it's very obvious what SDSO is and very obvious what LSPD is, but there's a lot of people in PBSO that don't have that.
I gotta ask him what he means.
Feeling. So I wanted to just create an environment in between where if you're unsure, this is probably the spot for it. And then, like I said earlier, the whole inter-department, build up those relationships, know what's going on with it.
Hey, Lucky.
Focus on quality over quantity. So no more of that big army with the biggest department. If Shift 3 PBSO is 10 people, but they're all 10 people that are great on calls and they're great people, then fantastic.
Okay. Out of curiosity, because I don't get to ask this question much, you said it's obvious what LSPD is. What do you think LSPD is?
Absolute insane gigacops.